Let's draw a donkey using some simple circles. A donkey is quite a historic animal. It's quite a lot like a horse. So what I'm going to do is a lot of the same things that I do with a horse, I'm going to do with this donkey. This particular donkey happens to be a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller than what I would normally draw for my horses. So this right here will be his chest. And his head is going to be right about here, his forehead. And his muzzle's about here. And his leg, top of his leg is here. And his legs are actually crisscrossing. They're crossing like this. This one's a little bit chunkier, and this one is a Jenny. This one is not a Jack. This is a Jenny. So the ears are going to come up like tall, kind of ovally shapes, almost like the bunny rabbit. I can only see the 2 legs in the front and the 1 leg behind, so it's going to appear to have 3 legs. And I can pretty much see the hooves. I'm going to change my grip on my pencil. There's the knee and the fetlock and the little hoof. And the hoof, looking straight forward, looks a lot like a square. In this case, a lot like a trapezoid. So this little leg is going to crisscross. It looks like it's just about crisscross. Let me move this over a little bit. And I'm going to see a little bit of the other hoof. It's actually a little higher. The hoof is about here because it's further away. I went a little too far with that. So right there. And the fetlock for the back hoof is here. And there's the square for the back hoof. Now I'm going to start out with the head first. And these ears kind of come up like the teardrop shape that we talked about with the bunny rabbit. They're quite similar. Donkeys have longer ears than horses, but they're quite a similar shape. And this looks like a long teardrop, and then it's going to hook on like this. So you're already starting to see the donkey. And the eyes are about here. And it's more of an oval shape. They look so sophisticated and regal looking. Now I'm going to come around. I'm going to draw around my shapes, adding the form now. This donkey's jaw kind of comes down a little bit. I could have stretched out my oval a little further. That would have made more sense to you. As I'm drawing, I do need to adjust what I'm doing so that I can make it look like what I'm referring to. So this is something that artists go through on a drawing by drawing basis, having to adjust and adapt. Things aren't always as you first see them. So there's the muzzle. This looks like a lot like a horse's muzzle. And I'm going to add the nostrils, which they're just ovals. They're almost the teardroppy shapes again. And they are not exactly identical on both sides, just like we talked about with the rabbit's ears the last time. And it has it's symmetrical, but not perfectly symmetrical. This donkey's tilting its ears a little bit here. Now I'm going to come down the side and then hook on to the front of the leg where that oval is and get the knee down to the fetlock. Same here on the other side of the leg, coming down, catching the knee, down the cannon bone to the fetlock. And right here is the hoof. And this leg is a little further back, so it's a little smaller. It's a little straighter. There's the knee, down the cannon bone to the hoof. And I altered that little square also. And then the other side of it. And now this is the donkey's belly coming down like this. And the back of the leg. The hock would be there, which we can't really see. Coming down the cannon bone, the fetlock. And I'm going to bell out the hoof a little bit more so it looks more like a hoof. So right there is your basic donkey. I'm going to add a little bit of a curved line here for its rump behind its belly. So there's the basic of the donkey. And what I'm going to do is go in with my eraser and erase out a little bit. So hopefully you can see the shape of it. I've done the contour line of the donkey for you around those shapes. Now the other back leg would be behind this foot right here. Now I'm going to go in and add some hair. It's the jig-jagged lines that I tell you about. I'm going to add some hair at the top of the head, the jig-jagged lines. I'm going to put in some darkness inside of the ears. It looks like there's fuzzy hair here. A little bit of darkness inside the ears here. I'm going to darken the inside of the eyes, leaving a little bit of white so it looks like they're a little wet. And the same on this side. And I'm going to add some fur to it. Like this. I want to give a little bit of a shoulder. So below the eye, I'll hook on and make another curved line here. So it looks like a shoulder coming out. And I'm going to jig-jag that also. Now, this particular donkey has a white muzzle right here, and it looks like it just kind of makes the letter M like that. And it has a line down through its face. And I'm going to just shadow it a little bit. I'm just going to go in now and just add some of the shading to it so you can see how I would shade it. Donkeys are amazing creatures. They're very, very smart. They're very strong for their size. Donkeys are brilliant animals. A donkey carried Mary while she was pregnant with Jesus into Bethlehem, and that's a historic fact. Also, a donkey that was a colt, a young donkey, carried Jesus on Palm Sabbath. And the donkey has a real unique marking on its back, and it's the only animal that I know of that has this marking. It has a cross on its back, and there's the legend of the donkey. If you ever want to look it up, you can look it up. The donkey's written about in Luke 19, carrying Jesus into Jerusalem. So this is a Jenny. This is a little girl donkey, which I already said. I'm just adding hair. These hair lines are just like the grass lines, fuzzy lines. I'm going in the direction of the hair. If I go the other direction, it'll make it darker. You'll be able to see, like I just showed you there. If I go in the opposite direction, it'll darken it quickly, adding more emphasis in that particular area. You can also, if you want to add more emphasis or darkness in a particular area, of course, you can just shade it fully in. So this is, by adding the hair, it's like hatching lines, just lines down. These are lines like this, just straight down. It's a good practice to just make lines, sit and just play around with lines and hatch lines. I'm just going to scribble a little bit here, giving it a ground line. So this is a little Jenny. I might make her belly a little bit more symmetrical. Sometimes when I look at things, I think that I see things that should look a little more symmetrical so it doesn't look all tilted and cattywampus. So that's when I take artistic license and change it a little bit. Sometimes even though you take a picture of something and you think it's a certain way, when you go to draw it, you think, somebody might interpret that differently if I don't fix it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm darkening in again for the shoulder like I was talking about. And I'm going to darken this little back leg. It looks like this donkey has black points, and that means that usually it's the knees or near the knees and down, and the ears and the muzzle are very dark. So just like in horses. So there's one donkey. I want to put another back leg in there, but I can see that it won't. If I do, it would be, that wouldn't even look right. So we'll turn that into some grass. So there's one. And then there's another donkey that's standing behind her, and this one is a jack. And this is his rump, and this is his belly, and this is his chest. And that's exactly the way that I have you draw horses. It's just like this. And he's turned, is a little bit of a 3/4 view turn. His circles for his body are a diagonal. I'm just looking at this. I think I would shorten this one up a little bit more. And the neck is shorter on this one because it's turned. And I'm going to give him more of a regal head. He's got quite a large head and a smaller muzzle. And I don't know a lot about donkeys. I've seen a few with my own eyes, but I think they're beautiful. And they do have a different look about them. I don't know about there must be different breeds of donkeys, just as there are different breeds of horses. So this donkey is standing, if I were to just draw like the stick figure legs, like a Gumby horse called Pokey. And this one's leg is back a little bit. So its hock is there. Let's see. I'm going to end the hoof up here. So it's standing more on a diagonal. And I can see the other leg on this one. So this will give you an idea. Harder to see this one's hooves. He's further away. So there's the fetlocks and the fetlocks and this part and the knees. And the hooves are going to come down. And let's see. This is where you're kind of going with more of a square. It looks like a mechanical horse, or I mean, mechanical donkey. So, hocks. I think I'll put the hoofs off of here. So you can already start to see that donkey, and he has a different kind of an eye. His eyes almost look closed. He looks so sophisticated and so regal. And he's got a little nostrils. So that does look like a donkey already. So let's add, now we've got the bones and the skeleton, the muscles of it. Now we're just going to draw around it. I look back and forth a lot at what I'm drawing. Right now, as I'm talking to you, I'm putting my head back and forth so that I can look at what I'm drawing. I spend a lot of time looking at what I'm drawing, and I shift back and forth. I don't just spend all my time looking at what I'm drawing with my hands. I'm looking a lot at my subject. And if you can get a chance to sit and draw an animal while they're outside in the pasture in their own natural environment, do it. Sometimes if they're grazing and you'll still have to be fast, and you might want to even take a picture of it. If they are still and quiet, sometimes you can catch them even resting. Now I'm going to go down his back. This will be his spine. This is a little tricky. this is the center of his back, but I'm also going to add a little bit on the other side of him. So this is more in this donkey. You're going to be able to see this more on, and I'll explain why in a minute. So if you have a chance, get out and see them in their own habitat. Take a picture. If you can sketch, do quick gesture sketches. I have a gesture drawing video that I did of one of my horses, and you can see what I'm talking about with that. I'll be doing gesture drawings here also. Right now I'm doing a series of animals that are done with circles and basic geometric shapes. So right here is his back leg. Let's see if I can fix that hoof a little bit better. He doesn't have the big round butt like my horse does. He seems to be a little bit smaller in his backside, and his belly actually comes back a little further than this circle right here. I'm just going to put that in right now while I'm getting ready to go for his back leg. And I believe his hock is a little bit lower here. I think it might be a little lower here too. So I'm just moving that down a little bit. It's unbelievable how strong they are. It really is. And they can be very stubborn. So now I'm going to go down. I think I want to drop his kneecaps down a little bit. I'm just going to pull his knees down. I'm not worrying about those circles being there. It doesn't bother me. I can go in with an eraser at any time and do that and take that out. So it's not a problem. I'm drawing fairly lightly, and though this is an 8B pencil, I can go in and pull that out if I want to. Probably what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to be sketching over it. So, okay, right here. There's his back. Now, the donkey is known for having a cross on its back. So it runs right down. It's like it's a dorsal stripe that goes down his back. And it also crosses over his withers. In this one, it crosses his withers right here. And it does the same thing on the other side. So he literally has a cross on his back. And they say it's because he carried Jesus into Jerusalem. He was marked. So let's go in and start adding some of the details now. Now he's furry. He, like I said, has a beautiful regal eye. I'm going to add a little bit of a line in there for him. He's got a division down his face, like a line down his face too. It's where his hair is. It's not a line like the dorsal stripe on his back and the cross that goes over it. And his ears are outlined, and this little Jenny's ears are outlined too. So I'm going to just make him a little fuzzier. And he also has like a little white muzzle, like this little Jenny does. So he's a lighter color than the Jenny, and I can show you a picture in a second. Don't be particular. Don't worry about being exact or perfect. Let yourself just experience adding the edges. I just showed you how to take an object, create it out of shapes, make a contour line drawing around the whole thing, and then adding some fur. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just for fun. It's for relaxing. And who knows, maybe it's something that you'll want to do for somebody, and you'll be pleased with it, and you'll give it away, or maybe you'll sell it. I don't know. You'll be using these ideas, I hope, and you'll be taking these ideas and using them for your own purposes. Maybe you'll take these ideas and find something else that you're interested in and draw that. I'm going to use the side of my pencil, which I call the foot, and I'm just going to shade it in. I want to speed up a little bit. I think I'm going really too slow, so I want to go a little bit quicker. And I can see a little bit of the swish of his tail down here, right down there between his legs. I'm just going to add the swish right there. So there's that. And I'm just going to check this out a little bit more. And this is him, and this is his little Jenny partner. So there's that. And here's another donkey, and this one is turned the other way, sideways. Let's see. Where do I want to put it? Right here. So there's a little round belly. I'm going to try to just go faster and not so much talking. This one seems to be very round, and round chest, and the head is here. Top of the head is here. So it's basically looks like just 3 lumps, and then I'm going to put the muzzle down here. So you might be able to start envisioning where I'm at already. And then I'm going to add the ears, which we did with the bunny. If you have time and you're bored, do hatch lines, cross hatch lines, circles, just to loosen up your arm so you can draw circles and ovals and things like that. And I think it's actually a little bit more round than I thought. So let's see, here's the top of the one leg, the cannon bone, and then the fetlock and the hoof. And then this is harder to see. It's a little hock in there. And then the cannon right here, cannon bone, and then the hoof. And then the top of the leg, the knee, the cannon bone, and the hoof. And this leg comes this way, and it's the top of the leg, the knee, the cannon bone, the fetlock, put the fetlock there, and then the hoof. So there's the basic gist of that one. I want to add a little bit of ground line to this little guy. Can also add a little shadow underneath its body. And I could put a little shadow underneath this one's body. If the sun's coming straight down from the top, the shadow would be right under its belly. So I'll just try to do this one quick. I'm hoping you can see that. Give it its eye. And come down its face. Give it a little muzzle. And its cheek. Come up for its ear. And its other ear. And this one has some outlining too, but not as much as the others did. And it has some hair inside of there. So I'm just doing some jig-jaggedy lines. And I'm going to give it its other eye. It's got a little tear duct there. This one has a little tear duct in it too. Now donkeys can be crossed with horses. And if they're crossed with a horse, their baby is a mule. And a mule cannot reproduce. But they're also very strong and very intelligent animals. And Grandpa used to love his mules. And I'm just coming down. That's where the hock will be, is right in there. I've moved that leg over. I don't know if you noticed that. I saw that I didn't like the placement of it. So I just drew my line. Instead of drawing it here, I moved it over here. So there's times when I'm always looking at what I'm doing and I'm recalculating. I don't know if you've ever, and it's probably happened to you before, where your GPS says recalculating, and it'll say make a legal U-turn. So just think about yourself as recalculating, and you're just changing your path a little bit. Now this one's a little fuzzy donkey, so I added a little bit more fur there, and I'm going to add some more fur here. And I could also add its little swish down here for its tail. And put in some grass lines. This one also has a whiter muzzle. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to shade a little bit with my pencil, just going quickly. Just some quick shadow in there. I want to go faster for you. I think shading is fun. Drawing to me is relaxing, but it's also invigorating and it's exciting. So there's this little donkey, and I might go back in and add a little bit more fur. So I'm just putting in a little bit of ground lines. If you wanted to, you could put in a background line. It could be a straight line like I showed you before, where you take your line and then you jump over and you draw your line and continue and jump over and continue and jump over and continue and jump over. And you can also add, if you wanted to, you could add hills in the background, jumping over, putting in some hills in the background like this. So you can add a little bit of depth to your picture if you wanted to. Okay. So there's the donkeys. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you have a chance, look up the legend of the donkey. Look in Luke 19. Tells about the donkey bringing Jesus into Jerusalem. So they're incredible animals. And probably after I shut this off, I'm still going to draw on it a little bit more. I tend to do that. I'll see things later. It's like, oh, should have added that. But it's okay. Just have fun. Scribble. Don't be afraid to scribble. I'm so glad that I got to draw with you today. And I hope you take care and keep on drawing.